Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online's Favorites Podcast, Favorites Channel, Favorites Everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at @DMarkJohnNFL for me, at MHolder95 for Matt. And, of course, PandaSups.com, discount code TDL. And, of course, like I said, the Dogs Media Network always supporting us. And go ahead, follow Dogs Media Network, Cultural About Dogs on Twitter as well. All right. So today we're doing our last draft pick, doing MJ Devonshire. All right, doing Devonshire. And then I went with the undrafted guys. Tulu Jenkins, right?
Griffin.
See, I already messed it up, bro. Tulu Griffin.
It's all right. We're getting closer. When then before you started the show, Tulu Mitchell. So we're by the end of it, we'll get his name right.
I'm sorry, Tulu, but I do you justice with the film breakdown. Okay, so so we're doing that. I had to try to find. I was gonna do some Carter Bradley. I just couldn't find any film, and XOS is out here taking over broadcast film now, so they want to go flag everybody. I don't know what that's about, man. You can't even watch a game now? You guys own the games? Like, what is happening?
Exos, man. Mm-hmm. I hate those guys.
You need like a class action lawsuit or something from like every film guy.
We should all band together.
Yeah, we should band together and form a class action lawsuit.
Get Brett Coleman to lead the charge.
Led by Brett Coleman, to get a name, start film some commercials for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Get Underdog Fantasy on your side.
Get everybody, bro. Just mix it up, man. All right. So OTA is just over for the most part. We just had some, we had the number change controversy. Already went over that a little bit. Nothing really else is happening right now after that.
Well, I think that they got more OTAs this week. They've got I think you get 15 OTAs, but they spread them out over a certain amount of weeks. So yeah, I think we have a few more weeks, but yeah, they only had the 2 practices last week. So
yeah, and then so 2 practices this week. They probably have some practices next week, and then we get the mini camp. The 11th through the 13th, right? Something like that. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, around there.
Yeah, so get a little action, and then it's just completely done after that. You know what I mean? Complete just slowness for 2 months. And hopefully nobody gets arrested. So we have to don't get arrested. Whatever you do it out there.
No one goes to Cabo, do something stupid.
Stay at home, play some video games. I'm sure there's some games are coming out, man. NCAA football is coming. I'm sure you can get you're a football player. You can get an early copy. Build your team. Do whatever you got to do, man. And chill out before the season starts. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, Maxx Crosby got paid. We can talk about that. He got a little boost.
Yeah, he just got basically they just gave him some extra cash pretty much, right? Because I know he didn't tackle in any years, and I think they might have been able to defer a little bit of money next year, something like that, or they cleared up space for next year, which not a bad move. So yeah, give them a little grace, pay your guys, keep them happy. I think not a bad move at all. I mean, you got to make sure 98 is happy at the end of the day. He's the future of your team, and he's the leader, so giving him a little pay bump to move him up the scale, get that little ego boost is not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, because he's underpaid a lot, man, to be honest, at this point. Just compared to how he's performed the last 2 years when he signed the contract, he's definitely outperformed it. He has. I would say he's better than Rashawn Gary, in my opinion, and Rashawn Gary makes more than him per year. So
yeah,
he deserves it. So it's going to be interesting to see what it is like going forward, because they're probably going to have to just give him a new contract eventually. Then they got to pay Malcolm Kuntz if Malcolm Kuntz performs, and we'll see how that goes. But if they have the cap keeps going up, hopefully they'll have the space to keep all these guys, because they give Christian Wilkins $27 million.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. Yeah, I felt like as soon as they paid Christian Wilkins as much as they did, they had to kind of give Maxx a little bit of something. Just again, I don't think Maxx is not that he was complaining or anything, but a little bit of can't just give the new guy $27 million. Give the dude who's been in your building being nothing but a stud for the last 5 years, making him $7 million less a year. But not that he cared about it, but just a nice little gesture, I guess, more than anything.
Yeah, more than anything, man. more than anything. Yeah, but that's really the only news out there. I mean, it's nothing. It's a dead period. So it's nothing really else to talk about. So let's get this film. All right, let's get to. We got Devonshire, and I did Tulu Griffin. Right. So, what were your thoughts on Devonshire? From the film?
In a way, he kind of reminds me of like what Amik Robertson was to a certain degree, where he's like that kind of boomer bust player. Like we'll see some of the clips actually have more negative ones than positive ones this time, but I do think he can be a good like dude in press man coverage. That's where he kind of stood out the most. Like we'll see most of his positive clips. That's where they're at. Definitely has like some good speed to work with and stuff like that. I think he has better ball skills than a guy like Cameron Richardson. Like we'll see, he has one play where he makes a nice PBU on a post route and whatnot. But I think the biggest things that I have to knock on him are his change of direction, like getting in and out of breaks is pretty rough. Like if you look at his 40 time, he ran like 4.35, something around there. And then his short shuttle was like a 4.25. So he was, obviously his change of direction involved with the short shuttle, but the short shuttle's 20 yards versus the 40 straight line. So gives you an idea. He's almost as fast straight line and running a 40-yard dash as he is when he has to change direction going 20, which is pretty surprising to see. And like you'll see that he has a lot of bumpy transitions that he's going to have to iron out. And two, there's definitely a little bit of like a football IQ that's missing in some route recognition. Like there were a few times where he got caught, especially in zone coverage, staring in the backfield with his eyes on the quarterback and just lost sight of his man. Like there's one rep in the scramble drill where he does everything perfectly, but then he's got his eyes on the quarterback, doesn't eye his man until it's too late, and they end up completing it for a first down. So there's like a few little things like that where I think his instincts could use some work. And again, that change of direction aspect of his game. So with that, I think he's probably going to be a guy that we're going to talking about, battling just to make a roster spot this year.
Yeah.
You hope maybe in a year or two he can become like that Amik guy that comes off the bench and is a solid player for you in a cornerback. But yeah, definitely got to temper expectations with the 7th round pick, and probably a guy that we're going to be talking about a lot during training camp and preseason. Is this guy going to make the team type of deal? So
yeah, and he's going to get a lot of reps in preseason, right? I mean, he's going to be playing most of the game. So I mean, we're gonna get a good look at him. It'll be interesting to see if he has a chance to make this team, because the cornerback room isn't that crazy right now. So it's not like if he goes out there and performs well that he can make a name for himself. But like I said, like Vinny from Las Vegas Review Journal was already saying, like guys like Woo Governor, who I never even heard of, is outperforming him. So you know what I mean? Like, because that's what Vinny asked me about. Like, do you know Woo Governor? I'm like,
what?
No, I have no idea. No idea who that is. From Northern Iowa. He looks really good out there. I'm like, well,
I have no idea who he was.
Woo Governor, yes.
I didn't even realize I feel like I would have remembered the name Woo Governor. I didn't even realize they signed that guy. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, so if that guy's already outperforming him and he's catching the eyes of writers, then that's how these last cornerback spots are up for grabs, right? So. Devonshire's got to outperform some of these undrafted guys. He is. And, like Sam Webb. I think Sam Webb's still there too, right?
Yep.
Those type of guys, he's got to outperform them too.
Yeah.
Football team. So
the other thing working against Devonshire, not to crap on him too much before we even dive into the film, is he's not the biggest guy either. Like Sam Webb, like he might have his flaws, but Sam Webb is as a good sized dude. I think he's like a little bit over 6 feet, maybe 6'1", something like that. Like good weight too. Whereas like Devonshire's a smaller guy. He's not even 5'11", and I think probably like 185, something like that, sitting around there. He's not the biggest dude in the world, so doesn't have a ton of traits that like really encourage you, like a guy like Cameron Richardson. Then again, that's why those guys were drafted where they were. So
exactly. So I did Tulu Griffin because we're at draft picks after Devonshire. So I just went through the undrafted guys and tried to find. Like I was gonna do Carter Bradley, but like I said, I couldn't find any real film on him. I even emailed somebody, got an email back, so that's fine. But it's all right, man. So I was looking at the undrafted free agents. I was like, who could make this football team, right? And since I can't find any film on Woo Governor, because I know it's Northern Iowa, it's like it would have been. If I can't find South Alabama, I can't find Northern Iowa. Let's keep it real, right? Right? Maybe some Christian Watson for I don't know. I find some Christian Watson for like 2 years ago or something. By Woo. But yeah, so I couldn't really find anything on him or anybody else. So like I looked at the wide receivers. So I was like, okay, so there's 2 wide receivers that they picked up. Like wide receivers, like after basically Trey Tucker, I mean, they got Jalen Guyton and Michael Gallup. So I mean, the 5th and 6th spot kind of is open to me, and they can kind of figure out who's going to take that 5th and 6th spot, and that's why I looked at Tulu Griffin. And honestly, I was pretty shocked by his film, to be honest. Because it was just a lot of things that he did bad. I mean, he's just a pure slot guy. Right? He's not very good against press. He's not. If you get physical with him, put some strength on him, you could move him around a little bit. But he can return kicks. That's something he has a leg on the other guys. He can return kicks. They used to give him. They used to do like reverses with him about 2 or 3 times a game. I just couldn't find a good film on it. It was kind of pointless. Watching against Alabama, Taron Arnold was tearing him up when he came around that corner on that reverse. So, and not every corner is like that. So I don't want to judge him and be like, he can't break tackles. Yeah. I'm like, no, that's Taron Arnold. You're ducking under a lineman and making a leg tackle on Tulu Griffin. So, but he runs really good routes. He's a great route runner. So he kind of reminds me, of those other slot receivers when they don't get press coverage, they can beat some like safeties, guys coming up one-on-ones. I mean, we're in more of a 2-high league now, so you kind of can get those safeties on him one-on-one if you set it up correctly, and he'll eat those guys alive. He's got the speed. He had 256 yards against South Carolina. So, and that was literally on like 4 deep balls. You know what I mean? And so he is. It was pretty shocking. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit surprised that he wasn't drafted. I was like, what did he do off the field? He like, to me, that's what the first thing I was thinking. Like, what did this guy do off the field? Because you play in the SEC, like you're beating Kool-Aid, and it's like something he didn't get a lot of targets either, so that might have been the issue with it. But gotcha. Yeah, because I'll show a play that I was like, if he got this ball thrown to him, he might get drafted. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. It was weird. It was weird to watch. I was like, because he didn't do anything bad.
Yeah.
Really, that I could like seriously point at, except like beating press, and that was a little bit wrong because even like drops, like he had a good drop percentage. Like in 2022, we only had 2 drops the whole year, and then this past year we had 5. But it's
I
was like,
if I remember correctly, doesn't he return kicks too?
Yeah, he returns kicks too.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah, so he might be a guy that's one of those sleeper candidates to end up making the team this year, especially if he has that. And I think we've talked about that a bunch. That's an open spot on the Raiders roster, returning kicks, especially if you can be a good receiver on top of it too in an emergency.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people are expecting Dylan Lobby to take it, but I mean, Tulu, he's returned kicks for touchdowns, and I'm sure Dylan Lobby probably has too, but just against better competition. He's against the SEC. Let's keep it real.
Yeah,
right? He's beating SEC corners and stuff like that. So, all right, let's get a Devonshire first. Just get a Devonshire.
Devonshire sounds
Check
good.
him out.
All right, so start with a few bad reps from Devonshire, and I will give him some credit on this play. This is actually a really good play call for the defense that that Pittsburgh is running here. Good play call by North Carolina because Pittsburgh is going to run they're going to run a 3 deep, 2 under fire zone, which means they're blitzing 6, right? We blitz the linebacker. I believe that's the overhang safety here. And not only does North Carolina keep their tight end in the formation to block, but they also keep the running back. So they have 7 to block or to take care of the 6 pass rushers. So again, not an easy play or not a pretty good matchup that favors the offense here. And then on top of it, Devonshire's biggest responsibility, again, because they're playing 3 deep, is don't get beat deep, and he gets a vertical release from this receiver. And I think this guy that's out here covering grass should probably sink to help him out on the curl. But this is a little bit what I was talking about in the intro, where you can see like his eyes. If we watch up here up the top of the screen, like his eyes the entire time are locked on the quarterback, and he doesn't ever like look to find his man or locate him and see what he's doing. Like you can see him start to stem outside, and he stays on his vertical path, and he ends up getting beat. And again, his responsibility or his primary responsibility here is don't let anything go over your head. But at the same time, we got to be a football player. And I mean, we can see the receiver breaking here at the 18 or the 22 or the 21, and he's still running, and we can't give up. what is that? 6-7 yards of separation. Like at some point we got to be able to close on him and make that at least a little bit tighter. And again, be a little bit more of a football player than a robot. And then on top of it here, I'll show you at the top where you can see a little bit of his change of direction issues where he kind of just takes a while to get in and out of that break and really drive on that route. Don't know if he'll ever, because he recognized it so late, don't know if he'll ever be there to like contest the catch or anything, but it kind of serves as an example of just him getting in and out, being slow, getting out of his breaks. This was the rep I was talking about in the intro. I mean, this is perfect. It looks like they're playing cover 2, at least on this side. Might be cover 6 up here. But anyway, he's doing a great job getting hands on the receiver, forcing him wide to give that safety a little bit more time. And then on top of it too, like he carries him with nothing threatening him underneath to help out the safety more. And I mean, he's got his guy covered at this point. That's part of the reason why he may start scrambling with the pass rush there. But then again, look where his eyes are at, back on the quarterback. Like at this point, you almost just got to flip your hips, find your man, and it's like you're playing man defense in basketball, where it's like use your like forearms and hands to feel your man and then look back on the quarterback. But he doesn't look and locate his guy until, back that up here for a second, like right here, where it's already too late. And then again, this is where his lack of change of direction, like you can see he's tried to make that cut and try to stop at like the 30-31 and ends up drifting a few yards too deep, and it's a completion. So again, just little things that you kind of got to clean up. Here we'll get a rep of him in press coverage. Apologies, this is video's a little bit choppy here. Like you can see it again, like he's in great position here, but he doesn't even adjust or recognize the back shoulder throw till he's past the receiver. And a better ball, that's a completion. Like we'll see it from the end zone view too.
Jordan Travis and his better ball would be a completion.
Yeah, exactly. Close your eyes if you're a Jordan Travis fan, because this should be a pretty easy completion. With again, you can see Devonshire like
I had to say it.
Yeah, had to do it. But again, like you can see with Devonshire, like just never recognizes it and isn't in a position to play that back shoulder. Again, better ball as completion. Now, this one I'm going to give you some fair warning. This was the one where I'm like, okay, yeah, he really is just guessing. He's going to get a slant here from the receiver. And what's frustrating is, like, if you watch him pre-snap, like, he's playing, like, with a little bit of inside leverage, like, with his outside foot, like, pretty much even with the receiver's outside foot. And he's even going to stay inside as the receiver starts to work on his stem. And he's in a decent position to defend the slant. But then he bites on that little jab step and like second guesses himself. And I know the ball doesn't come there, but if they want to do it, this is an easy completion, especially with the safety coming downhill. Who knows what can happen?
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, where like he's just not quite there yet from a route recognition of football IQ part of the game. Another good example here. I mean, this time cover 4. Now, again, I will give him a little bit of slack here because this safety down here at the bottom of the screen, once this safety sees this inside receiver start to work across the formation, he should sink and come help him out a little bit. But at the same time, I'll back this up. At the same time, like we're going to see Devonshire, like he's going to drift way too far and give up way too much outside leverage, especially in cover 4 against this post route. Like we're down towards like this would be the top of the college numbers. This is the NFL because it's Pitt for the Steelers. But yeah, so he gets way too far out and drifts. And again, you kind of see that rounded turn as he recognizes the post right about here at the 45 and doesn't actually break on it until the 50. And that just leaves that dude wide open. Good ball, but a good quarterback's going to be a completion every time. I will say this is where you see a little bit of the sub 4.4 speed, where he does have good speed to catch up to it and prevent the touchdown. But again, the little leverage pieces and stuff like that, something that I think he can still work on, where again, and on top of it, the rounded cut too to get in and out of his break.
It's a good point about football IQ because there's nobody around him, so there's no point for him to keep going where he was going. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah. And like he kind of plays it, like I'll back this up too, like he kind of plays it more like it's cover 3, where he's trying to force him into the post safety. He just doesn't have a post safety. And again, safety, this number 7 here can help him out a little bit more. But yeah, he just doesn't quite, just gives up too much inside leverage at one point. Got to be a little less robotic and adjust to the play call and the play that's in front of you. Better rep against this time. This time he's going to get the post, and it's going to be cover 3. And this is what I'm talking about a little bit. Nice little transition here, where, like, you notice this time, like if I back this up, let me see. Like, he's going to give some or take some leverage steps to make sure he keeps this receiver inside of him and force him inside, but he doesn't drift nearly as far out as he did before and starts getting up the field. And then on top of it, this is what I love to see, and this is what I was calling out with the Cameron Richardson, where he starts to undercut this route because he knows he has the safety help over the top, and he's forced this receiver into the safety, and he'd actually be in a decent position to maybe make a play on that ball. Had it been like underthrown or anything like that. But the other thing I like, and you'll see it from the end zone view, is because he forced him into the safety, like you're going to see this receiver get a little bit of alligator arms part of it. And again, not a great ball from our guy Jordan Travis here, but like you can see that's part of what makes it a difficult catch. Like this receiver kind of short arms it and ends up running into the safety, which is partially because Devonshire is forcing him inside. Then again, like I said in the intro, this is bread and butter, some press man coverage. See a decent rep here. I believe this is against a go route. If you've watched this channel before and know when I'm talking about coverage, you know I love to see this, where we're in soft shoe here, but right about now, gets hands on the receiver, disrupts the route and helps him stay in phase and keeps it on him. And then this time, this is much better, again, because I think he's in man coverage here. He's going to keep his hands on his man. Now, still see a little bit of the lack of change of direction skills, but since he has his hands on, he's able to stay in phase. Does get away with what looks like a little bit of a tug there, but we'll take that, especially if it doesn't get called. I'll take a 10-yard gain than rather than a 30 on the scramble drill. Yeah, nice rep. Like how he uses his hands, especially for a smaller guy. See, good. This is probably the best example of it right here. Little go route. I mean, this is teach tape material on this one. So again, press coverage. And this is like the new technique that a lot of corners and defensive back coaches are talking up. This little like one-arm jam where you start to open so that you can turn and run. You can see he lands his hand perfectly on that receiver's inside shoulder to to hold him on the line for just a second. And then again, getting attached, we're forcing him wide. I mean, can't force the receiver closer to the sideline than this, really. Like, this is perfect. And Drake May has no choice but to throw this out of bounds because there's no room to complete the pass. That was a quality rep. Nice little close coverage. This one I like too. This one encourages me a little bit more with his football IQ, because you're going to see like Florida State motion into this this little stack formation. And right here, a little pre-snap communication, calling it out, letting the safety know that they're going to switch men. He's going to stay involved, get his hands involved again. This time, we're going to go up and get a PBU. So again, this is more encouraging. Recognizes what's going on, communicates the switch with his guy, gets hands on again. And same thing, stays in the receiver's hip. Much better job recognizing the route because, again, he has his hands on, can feel the guy, and then goes up and makes a play on the ball. See a good angle of the PBU from the end zone view. So, again, some encouraging stuff. Good to see him show some growth as far as like the route recognition goes too. It's just not consistent enough right now. And I mean, that's a hell of a play right there to go up and make that PBU. So, again, got to temper expectations a little bit. 7th round pick, but a lot to like, especially in press man coverage. I think that's kind of going to be his calling card in the NFL.
Yeah, because that was what I noticed when I watched him on film too, is that, the difference is really between him and off coverage and press coverage. I feel like it was two totally different players. Yeah, off coverage is just very fishy, and then press coverage, he looks pretty good. So we'll see how that works with what they want to do and how they want to move him around. But in preseason, we heard you see a lot more basic coverages, so he might be able to show off those press coverage skills a little bit, especially in training camp too. In the 1-on-1s.
Yeah, for sure. And I know, like with Pittsburgh with Pat Narduzzi, like from everything I heard about him, like he stresses a lot of press man coverage. So it's probably just partially that's what he has the most experience in college. So again, maybe he can get better when he plays more off in the NFL. But definitely that part, like you said, that part of his game is going to help him out and should help him out stand out in those 1-on-1s that people love going crazy for. So a little surprising to hear that he wasn't doing that well in the OTAs, because again, that should be his drill.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back, and then we'll get into some. All right, so let's get into some Tulu Griffin. All right, so get into some I have Tulu Griffin. I got two Jews, so I would say just ignore that, guys. All right, but we're gonna get into his route running first. All right, and he's primarily a slot receiver. You're not gonna see him outside. He lined up in the slot 95% of his snaps, so he's not an outside guy. Okay, this is a pure slot receiver. He's 5'10", 180, runs a 4.4. I forgot the rest of his stuff, but you're going to see some of his route running skills. So he's doing a blaze out, okay? So post out, BD hates what it's called blaze out. So I just sort of say raw, not call shit in. But you can see this kind of his route running skills here, just from this opening one. So he's gonna sell the hell out of this post. You can see his head's down. He's got this slot corner, even going in that direction, expecting the post to do nope. Quick change direction. Leaves that guy in the dust. He's wide open. Balls to catch a little bit, but you could do that when you have about 4 yards separation. You could bobble a pass. So I want to show this angle because I just want to show how he got this corner. He got this corner completely leaning, thinking he's going post or over or something, right? And he just changes complete direction on him. And this is things he does. He does this all the time, guys. I was low-key in shock watching this. So here's him versus Terrion Arnold. Okay. First round pick, Detroit Lions. A lot of Raiders fans wanted him. I guess it was like a coin toss, they're saying. So here he is. He's running basically a dig route, okay? So just Terrion, I don't know what Terrion's expecting here, what route he's expecting, but he's not expecting him to go inside. You kind of just see his head. He's even selling with his eyes. He's gonna go.
Yeah.
Nope. He doesn't get the ball here, but look at the separation he gets from Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
He's wide open, but this is why he I was watching some of this, like, man, maybe if he was like the main guy, he wouldn't win undrafted either because he's wide open.
Yeah. Damn.
I mean, like I show. Go ahead and say that.
I was gonna say instead we sail the ball out of bounds.
Yeah. Send it to the guy who's always wide open. Like, do you not see this in practice? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Because it's weird. The one game he got like 12 targets, he has 200 yards.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So, all right. So here's another good route, which I like. I like that how he's gonna flatten this dig. Like you watch Trey Tucker run these type of routes, and kind of like last season he would fade it. You saw Jalen Ramsey was able to undercut and get a pick. But you see his speed, he's always selling something, right? He sells the go, right? The slot corner does a good job of kind of not just doing what Terrion Arnold did, right? But he still flattens the route and allows him to make a good throw, and he's able to catch that ball, get out of bounds. So this is what I mean by him flattening the route. So over time, because a lot of guys, they can fade right here, right? They can fade here.
Right.
If you allow now 13 to undercut this, but he flattens it, goes complete in a flat line, straight down the 50-yard line. So it's pretty impressive.
Nice route.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I get it. I think this guy can make the team because they don't have another backup slot.
True.
Besides DJ Turner, right? But I feel like this guy can get open, and that's a calling card in the NFL that you just can't get around. I think he has pretty good hands. I think that's pretty good hands catch. Just could catch balls in front of him. It's pretty consistent. So here's another one. This is another time he routes up Terrion Arnold again. So on this one, he's do the same thing. He's going to sell the go route, right? And then just take it right back outside again. Kind of spin. He doesn't get the ball, though.
Yeah. I feel like this quarterback is giving Arnold too much respect.
Or something, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can line him up in these condensed sets, right? And you can get him on these go routes because he has a lot of speed, right? I mean, he's not a slow guy. He runs a 4.4, like a low 4.4, right? Almost 4.3.
Yeah.
So low 4.4, probably on a good day 4.3 speed, and you can see what he's doing. Arnold's thinking that he's going to run a go route because honestly, a play I didn't show, he beat them. He didn't get the ball, of course, but he beat them on a go route straight down the seam, right? He was wide open. You kind of can see he's able to sell that, and he's wide open here again. But it is what it is. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, this type of game, in my opinion, like, if he's getting these targets, like, imagine if he's getting these balls thrown to him and he's beating these guys, like, he gets drafted. It's off this game. So you're not getting targets when you look at his stat line. It's 5 catches, 22 yards. It help you out a lot. So here he is against Kool-Aid. Okay, now he's one-on-one against Kool-Aid. Like, this play trips me out that he can get this football. Like, I have no idea why this guy did not throw the ball to him. They still scored a touchdown, barely, but it's just crazy. So on this route right here, watch how he sets up. He basically gets him on a two-way, right? So see how he gets a line here. He is basically square on Kool-Aid, so he can go either direction, right? And right there, he's wide open. And I wish I had this zoomed out. The quarterback is looking right at him. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Quarterback is looking right at him. He's getting square, and he's able to change directions quickly. He's wide open. One more time, because I mean, these are against guys who got drafted high. These first and second round corners, some of the best cornerbacks in his draft, and he's eating them up. He's just not getting the football. So I don't know which. And you can't control the ball getting thrown to you.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So so here he is. This is the game against South Carolina where he got 256 yards. Basically all these go routes. You see him here one more time on this in press coverage, right? Gets right around the guy, great release, gets square again. Like I said, he does a good job of getting square when he's facing press. Gets square, gets around him, and does a good job of catching this ball and before the safety gets here and basically protecting himself. So it's a good job bringing that ball in and understanding he's about to get hit, protects himself. And the guy does a good job of laying him out, but I mean, he probably doesn't. It's not the 90s, so, but it's a good job of understanding that, catching the football through traffic. Yeah, I just want to show the release one more time too. Because I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you can get your hands on him, as I'll show a little bit later, he has a little bit of a struggle with it, and just because he's only 180 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can see here that he just has a good release, and you see the speed that he has to separate.
It's a nice catch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty impressive stuff, man. I was actually impressed. It's like, wow. All right, so here's another one. So here he is on a go route, not a go route, deep post. So I mean, this was talking about him getting those safeties and type of players. When teams are running quarters, running
in the dust.
I know. So here's another one, kind of the same concept, but this is more of an over route. And what I like about this one is you kind of can see it. I know it's the broadcast view, but kind of can see the slow release he has because it's play action, right? Kind of slow release.
Okay.
You're going to see it better from the other view on this one. But also, I like how he stacked his guys. He's stacking them. He's good job stacking his corner, make sure he create more separation before he catches the ball. Just a great job tracking the football.
Avoid getting disrupted right about here.
Yeah. 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 All right. So here's another one here. This one might be another slow release too, where you get a better view. I got the backside of this one. But you can see now we're getting the ball in traffic. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, why they do this all year? Like, this is like the first. There's 3 guys around him, and he has all these balls, and he went throw. I don't know what happened, but this is what I'm saying. He's a good job of tracking the football, and then he has what I like we talk about a lot is the late hands here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even show his hands really. Brings that ball in. First down. Short overtime. Right. Late hands. Protects himself. Like it's all types of pretty good film here, man. All right, so this was talking about probably the main issue that I saw from him is that if you get your hands on him though, which I feel like he's a pure slot, kind of same thing I said about Lad McConkey. If you get your hands on him, right? He's just you know what I'm saying? He's just not the biggest guy in the world, right? So he's got control. I mean, this affects face mask too that he's doing. And he actually ends up getting a little bit of separation, and maybe in the NFL, like that's enough, right? With a good quarterback. In the NFL, maybe it's a tiny bit, but it's still, that dude's all over him, right? And you're not able to get the same separation he's getting earlier if you can get your hands on him. So that's something that you notice too. You get your hands on him like that, because like I said, he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's only 180 pounds. He's not going to be able to, fight that press coverage like that. But yeah, that's Tulu Griffin, man.
He's impressive. He kind of reminds me a lot of Trey Tucker. I feel like a lot of similarities between those two guys. So definitely a guy who can, like you said, I think he can probably take that backup role, and if he can contribute as a returner, got a good chance to make the team.
Yeah, man. He's very savvy route runner too. You can understand that he knows how to set routes, knows how to get guys open, he knows how to get open against players. And like those were against some of the best corners that are in this draft, right?
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see him go out there and play really well against those guys. Like when I saw the stat line, I'm like, oh, this guy's like what? He's like a screen guy. He's 5 catches, 22 yards. Like, what is this, right? and I watched the game. I was like, wow. I mean, it could have been 10 for at least for 90 at least, right? Or something. And like I said, the only other game where he got more like 10 targets, he went for 200 yards. So it's like, there's a lot to like there.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie. So that was what I thought about him. But I think he has a chance to make this football team, man. He really does. If he can go out there and have a good week and then return kicks, have a good training camp, return kicks, and then in the preseason, man, him and Carter Bradley, connects some deep balls or something like that. You never know, dude.
Nice.
And then bring that excitement and because the Raiders need speed. They do. They need speed. They need guys who can get down the field a little bit more. I mean, Trey Tucker feels like the only speed guy. They brought in Jalen Guyton for that same reason. But if I was the GM, I'd rather go with the young guy than Jalen Guyton, who I know what his upside really is.
Yeah, and I mean, to let know what Jalen Guyton is at this point in his career. So I know he brought him in, but if I think we see Griffin outplay him in the preseason, like it's going to be a legit conversation to be had. So,
yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, so that's it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed those two breakdowns. Tulu Griffin, probably down for most of next week while I'm on vacation. And but we'll cut up these videos. I make sure we're gonna put out some videos. We'll cut these things up and do that. And then so the content will be going. It just won't be live, but there'll be content for you guys. So just keep it going that way. But so enjoy your guys' Memorial Day weekend. Shout out to all the fallen soldiers that passed away. Shout out my RP, my man Chris Poston, who died in Iraq. So I just want to say that. But happy Memorial Day. Remember that. Just what it's about. Where you're getting you're partying on. So
yeah, for sure. Thank you to everyone, and thank you to everyone who served and everything, and especially those who have fallen and their families. Thinking about you guys this weekend, and yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it pretty well.
Yeah, dude. All right, so we're out of here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace.